The pull of a trigger can symbolize different things. The start of a race at the Paris Olympics, eventually leading to a victorious victory. A moment of anger being unleashed, or tragically, the end of another's life. This discussion, I will address three critical aspects. First, the current situation of gun violence in America. Second, the main problem associated with gun violence. And finally, a proposed solution to help mitigate this issue. Now, what is the current situation regarding gun violence in America? The misuse of firearms has escalated in recent years, claiming approximately 5,000 lives in 2024 alone. According to data from the Johns Hopkins Met Bloomberg School of Public Health, there were 48,117 firearm-related deaths in 2022, an average of one death every 11 minutes. The Pew Research Center notes that gun murders increased by 45% between 2019 and 2021, while gun suicides rose by 10% during the same period. Now, what is the problem with all this? What is the problem with all this gun violence? The problem with gun violence is its significant threat to public safety and individual well-being. It leads to injuries, fatalities, and emotional trauma, eroding the overall sense of security and stability in communities. Nearly 1 in 5 Americans have been threatened with a gun. Racial disparities are evident as 34% of Black adults, 18% of Hispanic adults, and 17% of white adults report that a family member has been killed by a gun. These statistics highlight the urgent need for action to prevent further loss and trauma. Now let me provide some recent examples of mass school shootings. In 2022, a shooting at Robb Elementary School in Texas resulted in 21 fatalities, including 19 children. Another tragic event occurred at the Oxford High School in Michigan in 2021, where 4 students were killed and 7 others were injured. These incidents underscore the critical risk that gun violence poses in an educational setting. Now, what is the solution that I propose? The solution that I propose is to restrict access to firearms. The premise of this solution rests on the principle that by reducing firearms, the availability of firearms to the general public, it will directly decrease the incidence of gun violence. Empirical evidence from countries with strict gun control laws, such as Japan and the United Kingdom, support this approach. These nations report significantly lower rates of gun-related deaths compared to the United States. By limiting access to firearms, we can reduce the number of weapons available for committing violence, thus lowering the potential for gun-related incidents. Now, what is the impact to this solution? By reducing the accessibility of firearms, we reduce gun deaths. With fewer guns in circulation, the likelihood of firearms being used in domestic disputes, accidental shootings, and suicide attempts would drastically decrease. Secondly, there would be a decrease in mass shootings. As seen in other countries with strict gun control laws, mass shootings can become exceedingly rare. And finally, it would benefit the community's safety and well-being, as reducing gun violence would enhance the sense of security in communities and encourage more vibrant social and economic activities without the fear of violence. Now, why should we care? Gun violence affects all aspects of community. Not only does it cause the loss of lives, but it also leads to substantial economic costs related to law enforcement, medical treatments, and long-term rehabilitation. More profoundly, the psychological impact on communities and the pervasive sense of insecurity can stifle community engagement and cohesion. By addressing gun violence through restricted access to firearms is not merely a policy change. It's a moral imperative to ensure a safer, more secure future for all citizens. Now, the solution I propose is to restrict public access to firearms. But however, this solution might face challenges due to the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which protects an individual's rights to keep and bear arms. This right is strongly supported by many Americans and upheld by the Supreme Court, making it difficult to implement strict gun control measures. Legal challenges and public opposition could prevent the enforcement of significant restrictions on firearm ownership. As Spider-Man once said, with great power comes great responsibility. And the truth is, trust within society is not strong enough to ensure that great responsibility is guaranteed when handling great power, which can lead to the loss of thousands of innocent lives. In conclusion, while the solution might seem simple enough, because of the US Second Amendment, it might not be that easy to change, even if it's for the better of our future. Thank you. Bye-bye.